to be virtually connected. I do believe we are amongst friends. I don't see new faces. However, I will go over the announcements as well as an introduction about the Bezerra Spiritual Healing Center online version for the time being. So, welcome to Bezerra Spiritual Healing Center online. Everybody is welcome. We respect all religions and spiritual traditions. We are not a religion per se, we are a philosophy of life. We study the doctrine of Allan Kardec, who codified the Spiritism, the study of the Spiritism. So I want to remind you that we are also a member of the USSF, which is the United Spiritist Federation. The beliefs are around scientific, philosophical, and religious principles of Spiritism. Huh? Emmanuel taught us that knowledge and love are the wings for our spiritual evolution. Okay, and we divide our service in two parts. The first one is the speaking, which means that there will be a speech, right? A participation. Your participation is important. Okay, remember that your mentor is supporting you with the insights from the speaker. So reflection and working along the week to sustain the energy you are receiving while in the center. And today our speaker is Kiki. I'll be talking about her in a second. She's very well known among us with the beautiful work that she does. And the second part is the the virtual hands-on healing, right? Remembering that your meditation, the ability to connect with the spiritual realm is extremely important for the healing of those who are here present, for those who are not here today, but yet are open to receive the beautiful energy of healing from our mentors and all the spirituality that's working with us. Now, I will remind you to have your bottle of water with you because as we are learning, as we are open to receive and open to give, mentors are working with us. So don't forget to have your water. Okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the exciting classes that we are having. We are working on full force. So, it takes a village. And we know that education is one way, is a very powerful instrument to educate ourselves, to educate our souls, so we can do the beautiful work that we have assigned ourselves to do here on earth. With that said, Bezerra Spiritual Healing Center is offering a series of wonderful classes, different times and themes and topics for you. So we have the Inner Transformation class that has started. Is the first and third Tuesday of the month from 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. Pacific time. Sunshine Beck is teaching this class, and we have the Zoom link as well, all the information, the passcode, and the email that has been sent by Kiki. So all the information is there for you. Of course, we're going to also post it here on the chat box for your convenience. But remember that everything is on the email listed, easily located for you to click in the Zoom link and it will take you to the class. So very easy, very organized. Now, another class that is going on is called the Spiritist Book Study Group. This one is every Thursday from 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 Pacific time. Our teacher is Dushka. So she is being continued with the Spiritist book. If you haven't joined, you are welcome to join at any time. Even though the class are ongoing, you don't have to worry about, oh, I haven't started from the beginning. That's okay, because we are always repeating. The knowledge is because we learn all the time. So don't worry about that. Okay, just join the class and you're learning as you go. Another very, very exciting that I've been watching, I've been participating, is the music class, my friends. And it's every Friday. It's like a happy hour, right? Every Friday at 6:30 p.m. from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. with Mark Carlos. So here's the idea is to use the talents that all of us have. And Mark here happens to be an amazing musician who is teaching us the history of music and all kinds of different rhythm and instruments. I'm learning so much that there are instruments that I've never heard of before. So I'm inspiring. I am a piano beginner. I dare to say this online for all of you. So I'm committed to learn other songs other than Happy Birthday to You. So what I'm saying is that what a great way to honor yourself for something fun and light, where you're going to be learning more about all kinds of music from a person who is passionate about. So don't forget, Friday at 6:30 p.m. Now we have a new group, which is the Introduction to Spiritism, and it's the first and third Saturday of the month from 9 to 10 a.m. with our teacher, Robbie Brown. If you have not taken the opportunity to be present, you're missing out, my friends. Well, if you say, but I have already taken this class, you know what? It really doesn't matter, because the more we listen, the more we learn. And remember, you are a different person from yesterday, right? So you're open and you're learning more. So I invite you to be present, to participate, to honor, and contribute your presence. It's a huge contribution for the energy. And it's an interactive class because you can also ask questions. And if you have a question that it's not very clear, we can talk about it. And that's the best way to learn, very interactive. Okay. So see, there are a lot of options. And look at this. Spiritism for the youth. Youth is how to yell? Youth, young, like me, young people like you and me. It doesn't matter. Maybe you're young at heart. You can join as well. Because again, it's all about the learning opportunity that you're having. It's the second and first Sunday of the month. It starts at 8:30, from 8:30 to 9:30. So it is before BSH online starts, right? Today we had a wonderful class. I missed out. I hope I think it's on YouTube, I believe. Yes. So I missed out the first class, but I am planning on being present next class, because Brian, I heard, did an excellent job, as we all expected. He's very excited about it. He did share with us a few comments before we started. And so join us every second and fourth Sunday of the month from 8:30, 9:30. You have a half an hour, have a little bit of coffee, stretch, and then you start your back here with us at the Bezerra Spiritual Healing Center online service. Wow, I'm excited. You know why? As I told you guys, because there are a lot of opportunities to learn, to evolve. One way or the other, you are here, you're present. As we said, your presence is important here. Your energy is welcome, and we love having you with us online. Now, the announcements are here. You can always refer to your email, right? That has all the links. But if you have any questions, you can always reach out to any of us. We are here to assist you, so you can be part of this beautiful party. This is our spiritual party here, when we are together, when you're learning, when we are enriching our soul, feeding our soul for the whole week, and evolving as we go together as a team. Now, let's talk about our Sunday speaker and topic. Super interesting topic. I'm excited to learn more about the world of regeneration. This is part one, and this class is going to be taught by our dear friend, sister, secretary, who does an amazing job here at BSH, Kiki Feresin. Now, if you haven't met Kiki yet, I doubt it, because she is everywhere. She's doing a lot of wonderful work for our center. Kiki Feresin, right? She feels that she's blessed to have been raised in a spiritist family. What a blessing. And that the family itself, and that taught her to study of the gospel since she was a little girl. So she started her work when she was little, and she continues beautifully with her mission. While working on her inner transformation, Kiki seeks opportunities to serve and to put into action lessons taught by Jesus and the good spirits. Her mantra is, I'm going to share with you because you may want to adopt and use it today. Accept with gratitude, believe with conscience, work with love. And that's what she does the best. She works with love by teaching us by example. So let's learn from our dear sister Kiki, who is here to teach us about what's going on in the world of regeneration. Kiki, the stage is yours, the mic is yours. I drop the mic to you, my friend, who did an amazing, I know, a beautiful presentation to illustrate the important information that you're going to be sharing with us. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Kiki.
Thank you.
The
May I
stage
be
is
an
yours, my
instrument?
friend.
Thank you,
Amen.
friend.
Amen.
May I be an instrument? Yeah. Thank you. So yeah, so today we are going to talk about a topic that I think it's very, very interesting. And if you are already studying the spiritism, you will probably have already heard about the world of regeneration, right? So let us talk about this a little bit. Let me just share my screen. Oops, not this part. Okay. Are you guys seeing my screen? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So let me do this. Perfect. Okay. So Jesus said, "You believe in God, believe also in me. There are many dwellings in my Father's house." So this was said by Jesus, and we can see this in the book of John, chapter 14, according in the Gospel according to the Spiritism. And we know that this, I mean, there is a lot into this statement, right? Like there are many dwellings in my Father's house. Like what does it mean? It means a lot of things. It means um, why are we in this place? Can we go to another one? How long can we stay here? Can we visit other place? And what if we don't like here and we want to go to a different one? Like what is this? Like we hear, as I mentioned to you, if you are from the spiritist, if you're already studying spiritism, you probably have heard that planet Earth is this world of trial and expiation, and it's moving to the world of regeneration. But what does it mean? What changes? What influences in our day to day, and why is this important? So today we'll be talking a little bit about this. But there is a lot. And speaking of there is a lot, I will use a lot of references here. So, first of all, I grabbed information about the gospel, information on the Genesis, the Spirit's book, a lot of books from Chico Xavier, a lot of books from Divaldo Franco. I'm also using some content that I saw from Jussara Korngold. Some of you might know her. She is part of the United States Spiritist Federation, and I grabbed some information on her slides. So if you are interested to learn more about it, I can give you a list of things where you can find more information. You can dig even more about this, because of course I'm even if I'm going to break this into two parts, um, it's only the shallow of everything that we can go through. So I will take you to this journey where the first part we will talk about the evolution and the preparation. So let's understand a little bit more, what does it mean on there are many dwellings in my Father's house. What is this earth transition that we are going through? How can we contribute, or um, which are the effects that we feel? What is the work that we have to do? And then on part two, which will probably be next month, um, we will see that it's time for this transition. So how can we help this conscious awakening, and how can we go to this world of regeneration? And a lot of this is going to be talking about this transition and the destiny that we are going through. If you have any questions, if you have any additions, please just feel free to chime in. I cannot see anyone. So if you raise your hand or anything, I won't see. So please just open up your microphone and jump in if you feel like doing that. Okay, so Jesus said that there are many dwellings in the Father's house, right? And then in the Gospel according to the Spiritism, chapter 3, there is a lot of information about that. And I think it's interesting that it's in the very beginning of the Gospel, because it is important that we know, because this is kind of This is the foundation. We are here in this house, and it is important that we understand and we acknowledge that there are other houses. And then what the spirits tell us is that the Father's house is the universe, the entire universe. And the different dwellings are the worlds that revolve in infinite space, offering to incarnate spirits stations appropriate to their advancements. And I thought that it was beautiful because when we think about we are in progress alongside with the world that we inhabit. And if we think about this entire universe as this huge space, and we go into different worlds as the stations, I think about station as a destiny, or a destiny for me to go, or somewhere where I am coming from, which again brings to us a lot of different perspectives on life goes on, reincarnation, and the ties that we have with different people from different worlds. So when we go to the spirits book, there are a lot of questions that kind of helps us to navigate into this theme. And it's very interesting because changing from world to another is exactly the reason why we are progressing. So spirits, they are detached from the matter in their normal state, which means that while we are in a spirit, we go from one place to another. And while in each one of those places, we are going to absorb the matter that is necessary for us to inhabit in that specific world. And when we there is some questions on the spirits book that I would like to bring. It's question 231, when they say a spirit that is in transition, which by the way is called an errant spirit, are those spirits happy or unhappy? And then the answer is super interesting. They say it depends on their merit. They suffer from the passions they have retained from the previous station, and are more or less happy depending on the strength or of their connection to the material life. When a spirit is in an errant state, and again, this errant state is just in between this transition, it has perceptions of what it needs in order to be happy. When this happens, it is compelled to seek what it lacks. However, a spirit is not always permitted to reincarnate when it desires to do so. And in that case, it becomes a punishment. So, what does it mean to us? It means that our happiness is attached to our attachments to the matter. So when we go from one station to another, if you are trying to carry that heavy luggage, there is the attachment that we have with our material vices per se, then we are not going to evolve, and we are going to stations that can support us with that heaviness. So it's important that we understand that, okay, so what we are learning here is there are a lot of different houses. For us to go from one house to another, we have to detach from the material needs, so then we can have like this fluid come and go. So then we would like to know, where can we go? Where are those planets? Where are those places? So the spirits go to worlds according to their needs of progress, of course. And then there are like different places where you can go according to what you're carrying. And when I say carrying, is of course with our moral understanding, with our own progress. So the first one is the primitive worlds. These primitive worlds are all the first incarnations of the human soul. So when we are starting our first spiritual journey as incarnated spirits, we go to these primitive worlds, and we are going to understand a little bit about what do we do in those primitive places? But those are the primitive ones where we understand our senses, where we understand our tools. And by tools, I mean our body, our mental force, our intelligence, where we can understand nature, what we can provide to nature and what nature can provide to us. So those are like the baby steps of our spiritual awakening. The second phase are the trial and expiation, where we already have intelligence. We can already understand what is our role in a society. We already have a society, but then evil dominates because the premises into this phase is to stay alive. This is what we know. Let's understand, like, we come from the primitive worlds where we are like in that very rudimentary place, and then the second phase is I have to keep alive, I have to eat, I have to protect myself, my family, the place where I live. So evil dominates those places. There is the other level, which is regenerative. After we understand which are the things that we can do and can't do, and by can and can't is literally understanding what is the cause, what is the effect for the causes that we do, and then understand how comfortable we feel about that. When we understand this cause and effect, we can go to the regenerative world, where souls, we still have something to expiate, and by expiate mean to learn by cause and effect. These souls, they may absorb new strength by resting from the fatigue of struggle. This feels comforting, and we will touch this a little bit more. After we have this strength, after we understand the law of cause and effect, after we understand all of these, we will be able to live in a place where good outweighs evil. And this is where happy worlds are. So everything that we were carrying and everything that we were learning, they were learned. So now it's about working and keep progressing. And then when we progress, we go to the heavenly or divine worlds, where habitation of purified spirits are, good reigns completely. So this is where the Christ as the spirits are. And this is where we should be aiming to go. And there is this beautiful quote, also again from the Gospel according to Spiritism, who says, "Spirits who incarnate on any one world are not connected to it forever, nor do they complete on it all the progressive phases they must traverse in order to attain perfection." And again, this is super important, because wherever we are right now, we are on planet Earth, which is in the state of trial and expiation. We are in between people that are coming from the primitive world, and we are in between people that are ready to go to the regenerative world, or even to the happy world if the planet is in this transition state. But what is really important is that we understand that we are all together, and being tolerant mean understand our brothers and our sisters, because we don't know what was the previous station that they were before they come here, or what is the next station that they are going to. So really this sense of understanding, of tolerance, of like togetherness, is something that we must always pursue when we think about where are we in terms of planet. So among all of us, those who inhabit are physically and morally even less evolved than those on Earth, on primitive worlds. Others inhabitants are on the same level, whereas others are more highly evolved to differing degree in every respect. So as I was mentioning to you, we are a group of people that are in different degrees, kind of, right? Like there is a range, but we are all kind of in the same degree for us to learn and for us to teach. This is very important. So when we think about like these big differences between less evolved worlds and more evolved worlds. The less evolved worlds, what is the characteristics of those places? They are very rudimentary, as I mentioned to you. Um, there is this aggressive nature per se, or aggressive animals. Everything is very rudimentary. People that living there still have the human form, but they are devoid of any beauty. I found that very interesting because we know that beauty is one of the biggest aspects of the divine manifestation, right? And it's interesting because it's not that those humans are not beautiful, but they are yet to evolve, or they are yet to develop this divine between them. And that's the reason why things are so difficult in those places. Humans that are living in this less evolved worlds, they do have this instinct, but they are not tempered by any sentiment of refinement or benevolence, or by any notions of right or wrong. This is important, by any notions of right or wrong. Sometimes someone does something to us and we say, how come this person did this? How come she or he doesn't know that this is disrespectful? This person doesn't know better because it's coming from a different perspective than you. Be tolerant, understand. These people are coming from a place where brute force is the only law. So as I was mentioning to you, they spend a life on conquest of food. They need to survive. They need to survive. So it looks like a very dark and difficult place to be. But even in those places, there is this latent intuition of the supreme being. So each and every being has inside of them this something. In Portuguese we would say that there is a flea behind your behind your ear, which is like, there is something in here. And this something in here is exactly that intuition about there is more. There is someone, or there is this supreme force helping us to go through all of. And then in the more evolved places, it's way different. It's completely the opposite, right? So human form yet, but everybody is embellished, perfected, and purified. Can you imagine that? I mean, we are all beautiful already. We are going to be even more. There is no earthly needs. So all these things about eating and sleeping and resting, and like the passions that we have into this realm, it's all gone. And because of that, there are no diseases anymore, because we know that diseases are a manifestation of something that we have on our mind, either because we developed it in this life, or because we are carrying since our primitive world. So we keep carrying this, and the disease is a mean for us to let it go. It is important that we look at that. We look into our diseases as a way of letting go. And the other aspect in the more evolved world is that there are no deteriorations. So all these things about ages, they are just different. The senses are way more refined. So now, I mean, we have our vision and our ears and our speak and the touch. But when we are in this more evolved place, it's like our senses is way more advanced. There is a very specific lightness of the body that enables rapid and easy locomotion. So that's why, I mean, it's easy for us to let us envision Jesus in this meeting with us. And I'm pretty sure he will be here because it's easy for him to be here. And I think that the most interesting aspect of this more evolved world is that in these places, humans do not try to raise themselves above other, but only above themselves by striving for perfection. So whereas in the primitive worlds, we are still trying to survive and to protect and to kind of adjust the society that we are, in the other place, we are just trying to improve who we are, improve ourselves. And the planet Earth is really in between these two places. And I think that the very first thing that we have to do is to give thanks, is to harmonize ourselves with our planet. It is very common for me to see friends and even myself to say there are so many hate in so many places, like these societies is still doing this type of thing, or there are a lot of people that are still robbery and all this government and all of this and all of that. I don't belong here. I would rather go to somewhere else for me to finally be able to evolve. No, we are here in this planet not only because we need to learn, but also because we have to teach. So imagine I invite you to come to my house, and then you come to my house and you keep talking about the decoration of my house, or the food that I serve you is not good, or because I'm paying too much attention. Who is being rude? God is just providing us this beautiful house for us to evolve. So the very first thing is, let us be grateful. And we are going to talk a little bit more about what is our role in this in each planet. But if we are talking about the planet Earth that is in between in this less evolved world to more evolved world and all this transition, in the Genesis chapter 18, which is brilliant, and the chapter is called Time Has Come. 160 years ago, time has come. And what is written is that is our globe is subjected to the law of progress. It progresses physically through the transformation of the elements that compose it, and morally through the purification of the incarnate and discarnate spirits that populate it. So again, if we are here, it's because we are evolving either physically and morally with our planet. If we think about planet Earth thousands and thousands of years ago, how was it? Wasn't it super primitive? We had dinosaurs. How would I survive with a dinosaur? Oh my gosh. If there is like a big fly coming into my house, I call my husband and say, hey, there is a monster here. Can you imagine myself living with dinosaurs? Like, this is really primitive. And this is how it was. So we kept evolving. Now we are in a moment where we as human beings already know how to use our intelligence. When we look at all the achievements that the science had, I mean, we went to the moon, right? How important it is, all the advancements of the science. We have to be respectful. We know that there are a lot of humans that use things for the good and for the bad, but nothing escape God's um, allowance, I would say. If anything was forbid for us, God would have stopped that. And we must trust. So every time when we think about like, I don't like this government, or the government is there for a reason, what is our duty? Is to either support, to continue, or to support change, but not complain. Complain is not going to help anything. St. Augustine said something that is very interesting, I would like to share with you. The earth, according to that law of progression, was once materially and morally in a state inferior to today. And under this dual aspect, it will reach a more elevated degree. It has arrived as one of its periods of transformation, in which, from being an expiatory world, it will become a regenerative world. Then humans will be happy because God's law will reign on it. So St. Augustine said this long time ago. And this is where we are heading to the regenerative worlds. Look at the characteristics of this regenerative worlds. This is the transition between worlds of expiation and bliss. Repentant souls find peace and repose on them, and ends up purifying itself. Still under the laws that govern matter, still experiences sensations and desires, free of the muddled passions that enslave. There is no pride that renders your heart silent, the envy that tortures, and the hatred that suffocates. The word love is written on every brow. A perfect equity governs social relationship, and all acknowledge God, endeavoring to evolve toward Him by following His teachings. There is a His rules. There is a word missing in there. Doesn't it sound like a nice place to go? When we say, like, when someone passes to the next world and we say rest in peace, I mean, this looks like rest in peace. But what is this regenerative world? If this is a still matter, it's showing us that laws that govern matter is still under this type of world. It means that we have to be vigilant. Vigilant. Because we can still experience the earthly sensations and desires. And if we think that the sensations and the desires that we have in this material world are the root cause of our pride, are the root cause of our envy, are the root cause of our jealous, then we have to be very careful, because this is within. And it's not because we are in a very beautiful place that our instincts are going to change. That's the reason why we have different worlds. Because if we cannot control our own instincts, we won't be able to be in other different places. And that's the reason why people who yet cannot control their own instincts, they are going to move to worlds where you are still learning to control your instincts. Whereas in the regenerative worlds, people know how to better manage their instincts. Therefore, they can find peace and repose and still keep learning, but in a more relaxing, can I say this world, environment, in less aggressive environment, because you are not, again, you are free of the muddled passions that enslave. St. Augustine keeps talking about the regenerative world, and one description that he did was, in this place there is this sense of pure and celestial perispirit breathing emanations from God in aromas of love and charity that emanate from his heart. I want to be in a place like this right now. So how can we get there? If we are saying that the planet Earth is in this between, how can we get there? Like, what can we do for us to accelerate that? It is a transformation. It is a continuous transformation. So that's why, again, be grateful about the place where we are. Getting harmony with our planet is crucial, because we are in this evolution just with our planet. So if we think about at the beginning of all the creation of the earth creation, it was super primitive. And then again, we were very rudimentary. So then came Moses teaching us to respect each other, right? He just came and gave some ground rules for us to, okay, guys, so let us make some rules in here for us to kind of organize the society where we are. So you have to respect, you cannot take anyone's wife, you cannot take what's not yours, and like he made some ground rules, right? So things got better a little bit more. After a while, Jesus came and he taught us to respect with love. Jesus came and taught us that love one another as I have loved you. This is the greatest commandment. Love God above all things and your neighbor as yourself. So love is the world. And as we keep progressing, the Spiritism came and is on top of respect, on top of love, is teaching us that transforming ourselves is the way to go, right? That this inner transformation, being able to control our instincts, being able to understand how we can be better beings, this is what will take us to our next step. And this is already there. This is already there. I find interesting how quick things were. Because if we understand from one state to another, I mean, Jesus came here 2,000 years ago, and then Spiritism 100 and something years ago was decodified. And now we are here already talking about regeneration. This is quick. And this is merciful because it's showing us that we can do that. That we can do that. That we can understand and we can apply. So in the Genesis, they say, having reached adulthood, humankind will have new needs and greater and higher aspirations. It is at one of these periods of transformations, or if you prefer, moral growth, that humankind has arrived. So again, if we think about what we were learning in the past, we were learning to use our intelligence. We were learning to control our instincts. Now we are learning to evolve our morals. And this is what we are asked to do for us to arrive in this regeneration world. Emmanuel said, we are, as humanity, millions and millions of beings, making a journey from instinct to intelligence, from intelligence to reason, and from reason to angelhood. That is why we cannot lose sight of the restored Christianity that we have today. We have to respect all the evolvements that science did. We have to respect the evolves that philosophy did. We are a result of all of that. All these foundations are helping us to be where we are. But what I think it's most important for us also to think is, what are we doing? What are we doing to ourselves? I know it's hard, the situation that we are going through, on top of everything that each one of us were already facing. Now we have COVID that is forcing us to go and face and be face to face with some of our biggest fears sometimes. But what are we doing to that? How are we improving our instinct? When I look to myself from 5 years ago, is there anything that I'm doing better than what I was doing? In any aspect, whatever. Patience. Pick one. Pick whatever it is for you. Understand. Understand other. Intolerant. Hear more than speak. What is that I am doing better than myself? Chico Xavier said once, improve yourself every day and accomplish the best within your individual reach. Jesus doesn't ask for us to be perfect. He just asks for us to be better each day. Are we being able to be better each day? as spiritists, or we keep pointing fingers on others, how the other person should be. The bottom line, friends, is that without a renewed human, there will be no new era. If we are all willing to go to this regenerative world, the world progresses as the beings that inhabit on it progresses as well. Are we being able to progress? Are we being able to, are we the enablers for planet Earth to be the regenerative world that we are all looking for? It is a work within. So we don't have to request to be transferred to Jupiter or Saturn in order to collaborate for the creation of the new heavens. And then Emmanuel said that Earth is our home and our workplace in the midst of this cosmic landscape that awaits us, so that we can convert it into a glorious paradise. This is beautiful. This is about ourselves. This is about what we are doing. This is about our transformation. This is about being able to overcome whatever we have to overcome. And again, it is from within. There is a message that I took from the book, From the Beyond, that says that the word of the unification, and when I say unification, is this like unification of understanding each other and seeing each other as a family. So this work of the unification in our rank is urgent, but not rushed. One assertion seems to contradict the other, but it is not so. It is urgent because it defines the goal that we should aim at, but not rushed because it is not granted to us to violate anyone's conscience. I will say it again. It is urgent because it defines the goal that we should aim, but not rushed because it is not granted to us to violate anyone's conscience. It is not granted to us to violate anyone's conscience. So we must be careful, because even if we know everything that we know about spiritism, knowing that we are going through this transition, knowing that we have to be benevolent, we have to understand, it is not up to us to teach people by point fingers. We must lead by example. This is what Jesus did. By the way, this is the only reason why Jesus died in the cross. Because if he had just redeemed himself of doing that, everything that he said would have just blown away. He said that. I'm not saying this. Who am I? I read that in the book Good News. When he was talking to his disciples, saying like, you, my friends, get prepared for the times that are coming. I am going to go through these, and you will have to do that. And then they asked Jesus, why? I mean, why don't you stop this? Aren't you the Son of God? And he said, I have to go through this. I have to lead by example. So we must overcome our own vices. So then we can teach our brothers and sisters who are here in need of learning. There is a reason. And of course, we are learning. By teaching, we learn, right? And then again, this transition is something that will happen little by little. Emmanuel said in the book, To Be Born and Reborn, the plan for our regeneration in the world is sketched according to the responsibilities we have assumed in our remote and recent pasts. Nevertheless, the manner in which we detach ourselves from the result of our past actions may facilitate or hinder our redemptive march on the road offered to us by the world. So again, if we know that we are here in this station, coming from other stations that we had our heavy luggages, and by heavy luggages, let us understand the earthly vices. And for us to keep moving forward in a place where we can rest, where we do not have to deal with our disease, there is a recipe. The recipe is that we detach ourselves from those old habits. Emmanuel said in the book Right Direction, chapter 54, little by little, we will comprehend that Lord does not ask us for miracles of instantaneous transformation or demonstrations of greatness, but for us to apply ourselves to be good in order to walk with the Almighty, step by step, in building our own peace. And I found interesting, and I wanted to bring this peace, because when we are in peace with ourselves, nothing can disturb our inner peace. How do we achieve that? By going to the root causes of what disturb our peace. So if we want the planet Earth to be this planet of regeneration, it needs to start within. But how do we change that? How can we get there? By being fraternal, friends. This is how we build this world. Dr. Bezerra de Menezes said, if we are not able to live with those who also embrace our ideals and work with us because we differ on one point or another, how do we intend to transform the earth into a happy world? Ouch. Ouch. That's why being fraternal, and that's why accepting the other, respecting, understanding. We heard that from the book Thought and Life. Emmanuel said that understanding is the basic foundation, is the very first step for every transformation. We can start to be more tolerant. We can start to be more forgiving. We can just be fraternal. And this is so connected to what Jesus told us. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples, if you love one another. So again, we go back to the lesson of love God above all. Love your neighbor as yourself. Love is the way. And we must expand our understanding of love. Love, it doesn't mean to love only our pets. Oh my gosh, that's a big love. Our kids, mine are still in the spiritual world. Hopefully they will incarnate in this lifetime. Love our parents, love our wife, our husband. That is easy love. That is easy. We must love those who are challenging us because they are in need. I remember once, I think it was Chico Xavier that said, or Mother Teresa that said, when someone, what is that? When uh, when someone needs the love at most, when he or she deserves at least. The person is in need of love when he or she deserves at least. So you know the time when we have someone that is always poking us to something. And when I say someone, it's not necessarily to someone, but expand that to a situation, expand it to a disease. When you have something that is probing us, that is where we have to focus our attention and give our best. The regeneration of humankind does not absolutely require spirits to be completely renewed, but a modification of their moral outlook is sufficient. And this is what we are looking for. What is the moral stretch that the person in the situation is inviting us to do? And for us to be fraternal friends, I would like to share with you this beautiful, beautiful prayer. And I will read it, but I will ask for you to read with me in your silent heart, because this is Dr. Bezerra de Menezes helping us to be more conscious about how fraternal we can be. We are one single family of hearts, re-articulating in space and time, learning how to better serve you. Teach us to become more fraternal towards one another. Help us so that each one of us can complement our companions in whatever they lack. If one stumbles, that we may be their support. If the other needs rest, help us so we can take their place and perform their duties without complaining. Enlighten our understanding so that we can become their eyes for those who still cannot see the clear path you have traced for us, and attentive ears for those who find themselves unable to work because they are numbed by the indifference. Peace for those who fall into contempt, and the understanding for all those who have not yet seen the light of truth. Lord, keep us in your infinite love so that we can devote ourselves faithfully to one another. And when the fog of our past tarnishes our present path, leading us to separation or disagreements, may the light of your blessings restore our energies and reestablish our sense of direction, so that all of us, united and happy, may become one single family, leaning on each other, and one day be unified in your service in immortal joy forever. So, friends, this is the first part that I wanted to share with you on the world of regeneration, understanding what is it and what is requested of us. I count on you for you to keep working, understanding how we can be better servants. And we will be back here for us to talk about part two. But what I truly expect is that each and every one of us are able to work on our inner peace, because step by step, this is how we will help the planet to transform. So, thank you.
Thank you, Kiki. What a beautiful presentation. Ian, did you like? Did you enjoy feeding? Are you learning? I'm
Oh,
sure
my
your spirit,
sweetie.
he was listening and learning with Kiki and our friends. Friends, if you guys have any comments, any questions about this beautiful presentation, please ask Kiki. We can talk about it. Important topic, especially nowadays. It's always welcome the reminders, the principles of our Master Jesus. Um, so I open the mic for those who would like to share your feelings, your understanding of this beautiful presentation.
Kiki, thanks so very much. And it's a new book that is just fresh in Brazil from our dear Divaldo Franco. So
I
thanks so
didn't start,
much.
yeah. I didn't start talking about the book yet. This is going to be part two. This is the first.
Yeah. But I was saying, the topic that you connected with this book, and it is so amazing because we do not have idea when it's coming to be in English. So you're already preparing us for these wonderful teachings again from the spirits that come through Divaldo Franco in this book, all these lessons, and all the lessons that you brought today. Just remind us again for love, the divine love, and remind us again, without inner transformation, there is no evolution, there is no progress, there is not liberation from the old to be part of this new world. No, I believe each of us, right before we planned to be reincarnate on the earth, as in this time that we are here, I'm sure if we come back over there and we can see our records and our planet that was made by the engineers, and to help us to build a new physical body and planning the family where we to us to receive us, to accept us, and bringing these topics over and over and over will be reminding us the seriousness that we commit to come into this life to get better than we came in. So they're reminding to love one another, they're reminding to respect one another, to love yourself, to recognize the divine within us. It is so important. So when we be doing this, focus on this inner transformation, we'll be ready for this new regeneration time that is so close to us. Like Tivaldo said, we are in the dawn of the new beginning. Just let we do our part. Thanks so much for your participation, your preparation in a rush. Appreciate your time with us. Thanks so much, Kiki, for your service.
I thank you the opportunity to be here sharing this beautiful lessons. It's really interesting. Thank you.
Hey, I really enjoyed it, Kiki. Thank you. And I don't think we can overestimate what being an example is, a true example of putting in the work. And we can speak all we want to people and do things, but I've noticed definitely just in my life what just putting in the work or to change myself. I never realized just the power of what being an example is for people, and to get comments back from just doing anything, just trying to strive to be better. Recently, I've been trying to eat a lot better, and I seen it rubbed off on my daughter, and she started picking up, getting more vegetables, started doing it, and it really just sunk home to me. Being an example is very powerful because I never pushed anything on her to do it. I just did my thing, and then I just noticed, wow, it just naturally, she's watching. People are constantly watching, thinking about what we're doing. And if we really focus and want to make a difference on changing ourselves, it's so powerful what you can become as an example to others. So I really appreciated that message. Thank you.
Yeah, Robbie, I think you're absolutely right. You know, you remind me about a statement that St. Francis of Assisi did: preach the gospel all the time, use words when necessary. This is so strong. This is so strong.
And it's a great reminder that we're always working for the betterment of our evolution. You know, it's really a great reminder. Even though it's, like you mentioned, it's not always easy. You know, the easy part is loving our family or those that are close to us. But the challenge is those outside of our circle. And to be reminded of that is always good. And for me, especially because I get real nervous about stepping outside of my circle when it comes to doing like presentations. But these things help push me and it helps me relax a little bit more. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I think sorry, Charles, would you say something?
Oh, yeah. No, I just took a couple notes here I want to share. And I appreciate the presentation was on point and amazing. One thing that all the words that you mentioned, all the aspects of the world of regeneration that we are going through right now is represented already here on earth. Oh, got disconnected. I'm, that's Amar. So
Hello,
we,
Omar. Oh, we
yeah,
can hear it. Sorry.
yeah, we are represented here on earth already. So meaning that we have pockets or islands of spiritual vibratory zones that are already present here on earth. And that's amazing because we don't have to wait for that magical planet to arrive. Actually, we're in a process of constructing it. So it's exactly that process. The second note, that access to these elevated worlds. Hold on, I need to. Amar is really disruptive. Hold
It's
on.
okay.
Sorry.
You're fine.
He was whisked away by daddy. So that access to more elevated, our access to more elevated or downgraded worlds, it depends on our level of vibratory emanation. So that's why the importance of continuing to work on ourselves, because that's our ticket to in, because that's how we have access to temporary access, or even just we can be even denied access to other zones because of that vibration. So that's the importance. The real work is not the world outside, which is important, but it's our inner world that needs to be transformed. And I appreciate us being on that path that leads up to that direction. Thank you, Kiki.
Beautiful, Charles. Thank you. Thank you. We thank you. Thank you. All right. So, guys, it's 11:13. Let us take 2 minutes break before we come back. Okay, so 2 minutes break.
Sounds good.
Dri, sorry, I just
No, no,
jumped
no.
in because I know that you're nursing.
Yes, thank you. No, that's what I was going to say. Thank you so much. Two minutes sounds good for everybody, huh? Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you,
and
Kiki.
don't forget to bring photos or names, your bottle of water for the spiritual treatment, and for us to be in a comfortable place in your house. If you are going to be on the to receive the spiritual treatment, so try to be in a quiet place or lay down in a couch, whatever you feel comfortable. So for the second part.